One of the projects I wanted to do on Smallwood Junction was to add some more lighting to the station. I have got some lighting already on this end of the station, but at the far end where the platforms go up, I've got no lighting. So I've recently purchased some lights. Bought these when I was at Getz, one of my purchases from Getz, and I bought some of these station lamps, which I have pre-painted. It's a bit blurred, isn't it? There. So I've got these. I want to fit these along the station. So prepping that, I've already marked out and drilled the holes for the locations for the lights. So the next thing is to start mounting the lights into the platform. So the lights come pre-wired with the length of cable, but what I'm going to wire them to is a junction box under the board, and I'm going to feed them off a buck converter which comes off the 12 volt bus which I've got round under the layout. I've got a 12 volt bus which I drive all the accessories off, and then I can wire a buck converter in and reduce the voltage to what level I want. I'll show you that later. But obviously some of these cables are not going to be long enough, so I have worked out which need longer cables, and I've soldered some extra cable on, so they'll reach the connector block under the layout. So there's my first hole, so I have to feed the cables in. That should come out under the layout, yeah, which it hasn't. It's probably gone into the platform. I'll make it straight. So I've got that under the layout, so I can feed that in. Then obviously I need to glue that down using a bit of Copydex. Wipe some of the access off. I can just put a it's not going to work, is it? That looks good. So I'll get on and do the rest, then we'll come back to the actual wiring. So I've now got all the lampposts mounted on the platform. So what we're going to do now is get under the layout and wire them all in. So let's get underneath. Before we go into the baseboard to do the wiring, I'll just show you what I use underneath. What I've got under my baseboard is a 12 volt DC bus which goes round to connectors every so often underneath the board. And what I do then for my accessories, I tap off that 12 volt bus. What I use then is this what they call a buck converter, which is this module here. And what I can do is I can feed my 12 volts in, and with this pot here I can adjust the voltage out of here, so I can adjust it down to the level I require for my LEDs. So I feed me 12 volt into the module, then out of here I go to one of these connector blocks here and put my variable voltage in there. Then what I do then is I've tapped me each station light off these connectors here. So we'll get under the baseboard and get these mounted and wired up. So here we are under the baseboard, and this is my 12 volt bus, the positive side and negative side. So I've connected the two cables in, and they go through into the next section of the baseboard and come out the other side of the buttons. So then we'll go round to the other side and show you the buck converter and the connector block. So here we are on the other side of the button, and this is coming from the 12 volt bus into the buck converter, then onto the connectors. So what I've got to do now, this is one of the station lamps I've put in. I'll connect those into there, and then there's one this side, so we get those two in first. What I've also done is I've had my voltmeter on here, and I've adjusted the pot to the lowest setting, which is around 2 volts. So I've got my lights all the way back to the terminal block, which is connected to the buck converter. So what we can do now is put the trimmer on the pot, and we can adjust the lights to suit. So I'll turn the pot up on the buck converter, and we should get, there we are. So I can adjust the buck converter to what level I want. That's feeding all the station lamps. I suppose now the test will be is to turn the lights out. That's with the lights out. They're a lot brighter on the camera. The actual lamps that I can see are not as bright as that. I think they look quite effective. As I say, they're not as bright to the eye. same with the station building and the other lights. They're not as bright to the eye. To do with the camera. I'm quite pleased with them. They look very effective.